What drug do you think is most used or abused by high school students?
Marijuana.
Marijuana, yeah.
Marijuana.
Weed. What marijuana?
What drugs are out there that you know are dangerous or scary?
I feel like just any drug, pretty much, because they can all like make you do stuff that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, that's scary.
Cocaine,
That's legal. It's not
crack,
like a legal drug.
heroin,
Ecstasy. Yeah, I'm scared. Cigarettes, black tar. I'm saying cigarettes, bro. Cigarettes, vaping, cocaine, bath salts, all of that bad stuff.
bath salts. All of them?
All of it.
If you had to guess, what is the #1 cause of death for teenagers?
Drunk driving.
Suicide. Drug and
drunk
alcohol.
driving.
I would think of suicide.
Drinking and driving.
Drunk
Drunk
driving.
driving.
Drink driving.
Dangerous new street drugs are flooding our streets, and the overdose rate is steadily climbing, taking more and more lives every year. So why is this happening? Drugs have always been a part of our culture, but never like this, says DEA Special Agent in Charge James Hunt.
It's worse than it's ever been. As far as the influx of heroin, we're seeing 10 times more than we had 10 years ago. Fentanyl is probably 10 times more than it was 2 years ago.
Hunt says fentanyl, which is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, is coming mainly from China and the dark web.
Fentanyl is a game changer. As bad as heroin, cocaine are alone, mixed with fentanyl, it's playing with your life.
The near-death overdose of superstar Demi Lovato was reportedly from pills laced with fentanyl. The man who gave them to her told TMZ he didn't know what was in them.
They're aftermarket pills. They're much stronger. She understood fully.
Emergency room physician Dr. Robert Glatter says fentanyl acts quickly.
You basically lose the urge to breathe, carbon dioxide builds up in your bloodstream, and you can die from lack of oxygen.
Hunt says fentanyl has found its way into K2, which is marketed with brand names and colorful packaging to appeal to teens and cause many overdoses. It's often called synthetic marijuana, but he says that's false advertising and a marketing gimmick.
It's a chemical compound that's very dangerous. You may get some of the initial effects, but it can make you very, very ill, and it can kill you.
Over the last several years, the DEA has identified over 400 different chemical compounds that can be especially harmful to teens.
Everything was put on pause because I decided to vape.
19-year-old Fabian Castillo nearly died before he could tell us his story. He began vaping THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, this past December. Do you remember the brand?
Gorilla Glue, I think it was.
Do you know for sure that it was actually a legitimate product?
I do believe that I was given black market stuff, and I do believe that had an effect on me.
Fabian says his lungs were slowly beginning to shut down. He ended up in the emergency room.
I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk, I literally couldn't even move my hands.
Doctors put Fabian into a medically induced coma, and he stayed like this for 9 days.
And we think it's because these black market operators are using a new type of cutting agent, and they're using it in a variety of products.
He's talking about tocopherol acetate, also known as vitamin E. It's commonly used in skincare products. Earlier this week, the FDA said vitamin E was found in the THC cartridges of many of those who have gotten sick. And state health departments in nearly every state told NBC News they're investigating more than 1,000 cases of these illnesses.
So this all starts in China, where you can get the empty cartridges, both for THC market and the nicotine market, as well as the additives, flavorings, and thickeners. These products are imported.
So to say they're buying the parts from China, dressing it up to look like something that it's not, and kids are buying it.
That's correct. It's a very deep, mature, and advanced industry that starts in China and ends in our own backyard.
So the question remains, what is in these illicit cartridges that's making people so sick? In fact, one of those samples, labeled as Exotic Carts Mars OG, was nearly 40% vitamin E. We asked Canasafe to test 10 illicit samples for pesticides. All tested positive.